Hello doctors. Let's learn about the basics and fundamentals of thyroid gland, the functional aspects. Now let's have a brief idea of what a thyroid gland is and what it does in health and diseases. A gland situated in front of the neck, and that produces two very important hormones which has got a huge physiological significance, T3 and T4. Apart from these two primary hormones, thyroid gland also produces another hormone with less physiological importance called calcitonin. So these are the hormones coming out of thyroid gland, and as I just told you, T3 and T4 has got a phenomenally huge physiological significance, whereas the third hormone calcitonin don't have much of a physiological significance. Maybe in excess level the hormone do have its impact in health and diseases, but not in a normal physiological level, not to a greater extent. So what you need to know when you think of a thyroid gland, it produces two very significant hormones called T3 and T4, which has got very high physiological impact. Now what does this hormone do? The hormone acts on two different levels of human body. Number one, in fetal life. Number two, in postnatal life. When it comes to fetal life, the thyroid hormone is extremely important in cell differentiation. I hope you guys are familiar with the basics of embryology and how tissues develop out of an embryo and how human body grows, right? We have a totipotent stem cells, we have pluripotent stem cells that differentiates into different organs. For that very basic purpose of cell differentiation, we need thyroid hormone. Without thyroid hormone, differentiation of cells is impossible. So the first point you need to understand is going to be the importance of thyroid hormone in cell differentiation. Number two, something called as organogenesis. Different organs of body are developed in the embryological stage, and for this organogenesis, thyroid hormone is pivotal. It's extremely important. So second point is going to be organogenesis. Both these two things happens in fetal life, doctors. In postnatal life, thyroid hormones are critical in development of central nervous system as well as the mental aspect of it, right? See, when it comes to brain and neurons, the development of brain and neurons are influenced in a huge degree by thyroid hormones. And please remember, it is not just the cerebral function, it is not just the brain parenchymal functions which are influenced by thyroid hormones, it is also the mental aspects of brain, right? The psychic aspect of brain. So thyroid hormones are critical in promoting neural development as well as mental development, alright? That's the very first action of thyroid hormones in postnatal life. Number two, thyroid hormone is critical for homeostasis, maintenance of normal physiological parameters, especially thermal homeostasis, body temperature, and metabolic homeostasis, individual metabolic reactions, which belongs to carbohydrate metabolism, which belongs to protein metabolism, fat metabolism, purines, pyrimidines, whatever metabolism you take, every metabolic functions are influenced in a huge degree by thyroid hormones, and that's one of a very important function of thyroid hormone in postnatal life. So apart from development of brain, development of central nervous system, neurons, thermal homeostasis, metabolic homeostasis, thyroid hormones are very critical in promoting neural functions. It is not just the development of brain, it is also the functions of brain and mind Please remember, this includes functions of brain as well as mind. Both are influenced to a huge degree by thyroid hormones, doctors. Now, this is the basic you need to know when it comes to thyroid hormones. Thyroid gland in another way, it produces two hormones, primarily T3 and T4, and these two hormones do have its own effect on fetal life as well as in postnatal life. Now, let's have a quick look at what is the receptor through which the thyroid hormone exerts its function. It's going to be thyroid receptor, which has got two varieties, thyroid receptor alpha, thyroid receptors beta. So the effect of thyroid hormones are mediated by thyroid hormone receptor alpha, thyroid hormone receptor beta, doctors. That's the basics of thyroid gland. When I say basics, these are all points that you can't afford to forget. So when it comes to writing a thyroid hormone essay or short note, should begin with this introduction. This is crucial. Once your introduction is done and set, you got to move on to have a discussion of basic embryology and anatomy of thyroid gland. How thyroid gland is developed in an embryo, what is the age of development of thyroid gland in an embryological stage, and how does it migrate from the point of origin to the point of its final destination. These points you need to know. Guys, when it comes to genesis, when it comes to development of thyroid gland, the picture here, the first picture gives you an idea of pharyngeal arches in an embryo. Hope you had again element of basic embryology is needed to understand this picture. If you're not very clear in this picture, I want you guys to get back to your embryology videos, have a brief idea of these embryogenesis, pharyngeal arches, pouches, neuroectoderm and everything, so that the understanding of this pictures and the subsequent meaning of the development of thyroid gland, all these discussions will turn productive and meaningful for you. So guys, when it comes to genesis of thyroid gland begins from floor of pharynx. Thyroid gland development begins from floor of primitive pharynx. We will be summarizing all the points in few moments, but as of now, be familiar with the words. As I just told you, thyroid gland develops from floor of primitive pharynx.